Welcome to the latest episode of KapVista Klips. Today we have the guys from Logmaster. How are you? Josh, Stewart, how are you?
Doing great.
Great, good to be here.
Thanks, Dan.
Awesome. We're almost February in 2024. Where's January on? I don't know, but it seems like there's a lot of buzz, a lot of momentum in the space and around you guys as well. I mean, you just mentioned that you sent out an update on what you're working on, and being operational, you didn't see all the good things, but the investors see that you're doing really good things. So there seems to be a lot of buzz around you guys. But I'll just jump straight into it. I'd love to hear about your story. How did you guys get from the start of your career to this point? What did you do? Tell me about your background. Do you want to maybe we'll start with Josh?
Sure. Okay, great. I guess I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always had a side hustle, and sometimes many side hustles. Most of my background's been in sales and marketing, and then grew into operations roles, team management, state management, sales management roles, that sort of stuff. And I've always had a desire to do something big that touched a lot of people and was really valuable to a lot of people. And so, when I met Stewart, we were both working in operations for a big rideshare company that was taken off in Australia. And so it was our job to make, tens of thousands of drivers compliant to be on a rideshare platform. And we just got the spark, and we saw the gap in the industry and in the market, I guess, and we're really keen to get together and fill it. And so far, so good.
Awesome. Stewart, tell me your background. I mean, Josh touched on it, but how did you get to this point?
So in some ways similar, but I think we each do our thing in the company. For many years, I've sort of interspersed studying business, trying to figure out how it works in the big picture, working in government regulatory positions, office positions, and also technology companies like Apple and a Microsoft kind of partner, and doing sales and marketing, just trying to put it all together in my head, and I had some business startups as well. Did bit of online education, had some businesses that they went well, but in my earlier days they got to a certain size, and now I feel like this project, or originally a project's becoming a real company and really taking off. It's a combination of work and study, and a lot of that was going on when I met Josh. So we looked at the company we were working for, and we looked at the industry and a huge yawning gap in what a regular driver, what a working professional can do for themselves in a really tough environment, and whether there's any automation for them at all. And then we chased that, and really got followed demand after that. So we opened our doors, and it's been a matter of responding to strong demand ever since.
Awesome. So you each had a similar path. You met at a rideshare company that's taken off in Australia. Tell me about what Logmaster is. Tell me the solution, what you offer your customers. Tell me about the momentum, everything that you had. Tell me the Logmaster story.
All right. So look, when we began, it started out as a solution for rideshare, because there were a lot of issues with passengers of rideshare rides coming into our office and saying, we don't feel safe. We feel like these drivers are, falling asleep, or they're swerving on the road, and I don't feel safe. It's clear that these drivers are tired. The big problem there is that there's no network of a driver driving for one company for many hours and then jumping across and doing gigs for another company, and getting really fatigued in doing that. But the regulations in Australia really haven't caught up for us to really solve that problem, and they still haven't. But look, the trucking industry found out about the first prototype product that we made and said, where's ours? The ones that we've got right now are old, they're not developed to the point where they're really user friendly and provide a lot of value and benefit. And so we started focusing in on the trucking industry, where regulations are you know, much more developed, and there's a more of a value proposition we can offer to not only drivers but the transport businesses that employ them. And so we also looked at the landscape of transport technology in Australia and found our very special spot where we can fit and provide our regulatory product to many of the providers in Australia that don't have the time or the budget or the energy to go and build such a hard piece of software. And so our channel partner strategy was born. And you know, to date now, we have over 65 partners who are actively on selling our products and services through to their networks of customers. When we started, it was all about how can we get rid of paper logging for drivers. So just to paint the picture a little bit, in Australia, if you drive a truck that's more than 12 tons from more than 100 k's away from your base, you have to fill in one of these every day. And the first 10 pages of this book are the rules and regulations about how to not get fined, you know, for exceeding your fatigue laws, basically. And it is very complex and complicated for a driver to understand all of those and stay within the rules. So our goal was, let's create a product that's actually designed to help the drivers stay compliant, stay fit and healthy, you know, stay within the rules, but a system that will help them. You know, so we've integrated different parts of our tech to let the drivers know, hey, you've got a break coming up, make sure you stop before this time, or don't forget to log 7 hours tonight for your night rest. All of those things that come into you know, the national heavy vehicle law, and just made it really easy for the drivers. So that was product number one, was just replacing that paper diary, getting it accredited with the regulator. And then we moved on with demand from the transport businesses to say, hey, reporting is really hard for us as well, because we've got audits to do every quarter, and you know, each of our accreditations has all this advanced reporting that we need, and it's very difficult with paper. So we basically set out to digitize and simplify that whole process for drivers and transport businesses, and they're loving it. It's very, very sticky. We don't have churn. Our churn is incredibly non-existent, and everyone's really, really happy with the product. So we're doing really well.
Awesome. So tell me about the milestones you've achieved, let's say in the last 18 months. You know, how's the business gone from strength to strength?
Well, I can tell you we're definitely the fastest growing tech compliance company in Australia. Last quarter, we did 37% growth quarter on quarter, which is pretty great. We're definitely the leader in our field, the most preferred, the one that people talk about the most, the one with the most features and benefits. So we get a lot of referrals from drivers who use it and companies that use it, and they just say, I asked a friend what to do here, and they said the only choice is Logmaster. You go to them, they look after you. In terms of milestones, I mean, we haven't even been trading in market for 2 years, and we're already, you know, we've already jumped all of the competition, which is great. We've released the fatigue compliance module. We've released the time and kilometer reporting module. We've released the mass compliance module. You know, our app is certified on Android and Apple, works in black spots and no service areas. I guess the milestones are, there's a lot. Break even, that's a big one. You know, we got there. That's
huge. That's huge. Break even for a startup is almost non-existent. You know, a company at your age is usually, you know, have a high burn rate, and you know, is a long way from breaking even. But to be broken even at this point with a blue sky ahead, this is a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely love looking at their trajectory, and it just is steady going up, which is nice. We love the channel partner method as well, because it means that we don't have, you know, a super high head count. We don't have to employ salespeople. We've literally got armies of company employees who are in the industry promoting us, selling us, bringing us to demonstrations, you know, hooking into the big opportunities with their big clients, which is awesome.
Awesome. So tell me some of the clients you're working with. Is there people that you can mention, you know, people that can provide, you know, credibility to a new company is crucial at these points. But you know, working with these partners who believe in your story, believe in your vision, and want to see you grow. This is something that resonates with people who are looking at your business, that want to back you and support you.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I won't go and name drop them all, but I can tell you that we've got a lot of the bus industry, so bus, coach, charter bus, they really resonate and dig in deep with the product and love it and help promote us. Working with like sustainable timber, so a lot of businesses that move timber and that kind of thing. There's plenty in the construction industry. Businesses that move trucks from place to place, that's a big one. Plant hire, you know, construction materials. It's kind of like, sometimes people say, well, who's your target? And it's actually anyone who drives a truck or has a transport business that moves a truck. And we all know that trucks move so many different things. So we've kind of got clients in all these different little sub industries, which is really, really good.
Yeah. And then, you know, you're not just solving a problem for Australia. This is a global, you know, a global play, because the same regulations and rules would, you know, be replicated in different countries, you know, like the US, the UK, Canada, and parts of Europe would all have the same sort of regulations.
Yep, exactly. We're actually really lucky because Australia is quite a few years ahead in how strict we are. So it's like we've built the hardest one first. And so replicating into different industries and different regulatory landscapes is going to be a case of copy, paste, modify, you know, put it out. So
yeah.
We're looking forward to New Zealand launching. We'll be launching in New Zealand in March, which is great. And then we've got our eyes set on the States as well.
Nice. Okay. So tell us about, you know, the raise. You're obviously raising capital. How much are you raising? What's it being used for? What's the momentum?
Yeah. So, I mean, for us, I guess raising capital is a constant thing. We like to keep really good relationships with investors and potential investors and keep them updated, so that when the opportunity pops up for us to expand in a big way, or if we need a certain injection to hit a certain milestone or uncover a new market, that we're going to basically have people there going, yep, pick me. I'm ready to go. I've listened to your story. I've seen how you're growing. I think our raise really is about focusing in on what we need to release in a big way in America. You know, we don't want to just start in this little tiny pocket. We want to go big. And so I think there'll be a few $1 million requested to get that done, and that'll be somewhere throughout this year.
Yeah, awesome. You know, having that mindset where you're, you know, you're building your raise book and you want to connect with investors because you have big plans on the cards and you need, you know, their support and their belief and their, you know, help to expand into you know, new territories, new countries, and grow your business at the same time is a smart strategy. You know, raising capital to you know, basically put full fuel on the fire. That's what investors want to see. They want to see that you've got a solid foundation. You know, you are break even, you are growing, you know, 30% plus quarter on quarter. But you know, you're asking for their help and their strategy, and even, you know, that smart money aspect where, you know, if they have the right contacts in these new markets that you want to break into, you know, they can write a check, come on board, and help you expand into that market, and help you grow, and they can be, you know, part of that journey with you. So that's a very smart strategy. I like what you're doing with this. Anything that you want to add? Anything that you think is investor worthy news? Anything that will shed a light on, you know, why you're the right company to back?
Sure. Stuart, I feel like I'm still in the show. Feel free to jump in and throw
I
in
keep getting excited to say stuff, but we're going all right. So I think like a couple of things, our capabilities, the fact that we've kept pretty much the same engineering team and achieved so much, and there is a long roadmap in terms of what more we can do ahead. There's geographic expansion. making a product for the US, which is actually simpler to build than the one we've already made. And there's also expansion in terms of what truck companies are recommending to regulators around the world that they enforce truck companies to do. And all of that is a massive headache that so far we've solved with software really effectively. So truck companies around the world really would like to have all of their responsibilities to the government automated if they can. And if you look at our website, the biggest companies in the world that are doing vehicle tracking, which is right next door to us, they've all partnered with us here in Australia. So think of this as Australia as a classic testing ground for new businesses and for technology, and the amount of faith that's been put in us here. And we'd be really excited to bring, you know, what we've achieved and the rest of our roadmap into those bigger economies.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We've got a very big job ahead of us. If we plan to be the global leader in transport compliance tech in a few years, and there's a lot of trucks out there, and so we've got a lot of work ahead of us, releasing in everywhere we can, basically. So we've got the foundation set, we've got the software, it's ready to modify for each different market that we hit, and so yeah, we've definitely got our work cut out for us.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave it there. I won't take up too much of your time, but thank you very much for jumping on. I think this is a really good opportunity. If anybody's who's watched this episode who wants to know more, follow the details below or reach out to me directly and my team, and we can connect you to the guys from Logmaster. But thank you very much for jumping on. I'm grateful for you to be here, and I'm excited to see where you go next.
Great. Thank you so much, Dan. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dan. Cheers.